Hey guys, so I am here today with my first half of my wrap-up for January. So in this I am going to include my wrap-up for December and January, so I hope you guys enjoy. So I only read two books in the month of December. Okay, so the first book that I read in the month of January was The Wicked Will Rise by Danielle Page, and this is the second book in the Dorothy Must Die series trilogy. I think it's going to be a longer series than a trilogy, but I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I remember reading it all in one day because that's how short it was, and I can't wait to read it. Yellow Brick War, because that's the next book in the series, and this left off on a cliffhanger, and I need to know right now what happens to our characters that we left off with. The next book that I read in the month of December was The Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey, and this is the second book in the Fifth Wave trilogy. That series ended in 2016, and I just picked up this book because I had read The Fifth Wave a long time ago, but I needed to get through this book before anything else because this had been on my shelf the longest, so I decided to pick it up, and I forgot most of what happened in the Fifth Wave, so I didn't really know what was happening in the Infinite Sea because I didn't know who half of the characters were. So, for that reason, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, and that's like the lowest that I probably have ever given anything, besides something like a long time ago. But I read this book. It was okay, but I didn't fully enjoy it like I should have. The next book, okay, this is the first half of my January TBR. This is the past me. So you're going to see this me in the tie-dye, and then you're going to go see another part of me who I will be filming at school because today's my last day, apparently. So I'm filming my first half of my wrap. So the first book that I officially finished in January, because I think I started it in December, the end of December, and this one has been on my shelf the longest too, along with the Infinite, it's been on my shelf for a long time, let's just say this. And so I decided to pick it up at the end of December so I could finish off this trilogy, and it was okay. I mean, I'll explain in a second when I tell you what it is. And that is Champion by Marie Lu, and this is the third and final book in the Legends trilogy. And I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars because I had forgotten about what happened in Prodigy when I started this book. But the ending, I didn't really like the ending that much, but I still liked the storyline. I was confused half the time because of certain events that happened in this book that seemed a little bit random, but I still gave it a 4 out of 5 regardless because I think I have nostalgia for this series now because I read the first two books last year, and I think I liked them better than this one. But yeah, I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. And I hope that I can read more of Marie Lu's other series, like the Young Elites trilogy, which ended last year, along with the new book that she's writing. The next 4 books are part of the series, and I read them in anticipation for its adaptation that came out this past month. And I loved the adaptation. I loved it. Like, that's not like an exaggeration. I loved it. Like, most people don't like adaptations because they don't follow the series. I loved this adaptation. I just finished it yesterday, and it was amazing. It followed the series, the first 4 books exactly, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I'm going to have a full-on review for this series soon-ish. I don't know when that's going to be. I'm going to have to rewatch the series, but it was so good. So you may know what I'm talking about. It's a Netflix series, and it's an adaptation of a series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket, and so it follows the first 4 books, which are The Bad Beginning, The Reptile Room, The Wide Window, and The Miserable Mill. And so this TV series stars Neil Patrick Harris as Count Olaf, which he's the bad guy in this series, and it has like Catherine O'Hara in the last one when she's at the Miserable Mill. It has even Daniel Handler himself as like a little bit of like a like a cameo, and I loved it so much. It was really funny because I didn't expect at the end, so they actually set it up for the next book, which is called the Austere Academy. I'll put it here or here, which like they're on their own now after what happens in the Mistral Mill, and they set it up for that so that they potentially could have a second season, which they got announced that it was going to have a second season. I can't wait that they set it up for that. And so most of the TV show was like the books, and they added like more of like an intricate plot into it, and I'm just like really happy that they did that, because normally if they're adding stuff, it wouldn't be good. If they're adding extra things that don't really work out so well, it wouldn't be that good. But I think since Daniel Handler, he writes under the name Lemony Snicket, so that's why I'm talking about Daniel Handler. I think he was a part of putting it all together, and he put that extra plot line in there, which made me very happy because it actually worked. And for most of the time, you thought that Baudelaire's parents, who die in a fire in the first book, you think that they're alive because there's like two different storylines going on at the same time, well, like halfway through the series, or the TV show, and you don't even know what's going on. But enough of that. I'll talk about that in my review of the series in a few videos to come. But I loved these books. I love these books so much. I read these books when I was younger, and I remember reading The Slippery Slope, which is the 10th book in the series, over and over, because I think that was the only book at the time that I had in that series, like physically. But then for Christmas, I got the whole series of Unfortunate Events series. I decided to read the first 4 in anticipation for the TV show, and I was not disappointed. I gave all of these 5 out of 5 stars because Daniel Handler, Lemony Snicket, he writes a really good mystery and thriller with this. Like it's like a child thriller, and it's insane because you don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know who Count Olaf's going to be next, and it's really creepy because sometimes he dresses as a lady, and he's an ugly lady. So I'm very excited to watch how the second season is going to progress and how they're going to put the next 4 books, the Austere Academy, and the area after that, I forget what they're called. But I can't wait to see how this progresses because I'm excited for the next season, and I think everybody did well with their acting of this, the characters. So this was the first half of my wrap-up. I'm going to go to future Olivia, who she has probably more books to share with you that she read. So yeah, see you later, guys. Hey guys, it's future me, and so I only read 1 book between the time that you saw me last and now, and I finished it today on the last day of January because I am a crazy person who literally is so busy that I couldn't even read, and I decided like I have to finish this book or else it won't be there for my January wrap-up. So I'm just going to show you this one, and I'm rambling. Okay, the book that I decided to finish is Rogue Wave by Jennifer Donnelly, and this is the second book in the Waterfire Saga series. I think that's what I'm going to call it, or quartet, or whatever it is. And so this book, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars because this series is so good, and Serena always recommended it to me, and so now I actually get a chance to actually like read it, and this book is awesome. There's a lot of shipping for me, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I say that with every book, but I can't wait to continue on with the next one, which is Dark Tide, and I'm excited. So that was the ending of my wrap-up for both December and January. My name is Olivia. You're on Bookish Nice channel, and I hope to see you soon in another video. Bye!